The agenda includes an item to discuss the third project for the PFC, and that is the Middle Fork of the Weiser River. And I'd like to suggest an approach to this to help relieve any anxiety about taking on a third project. And to do that, I'm making a suggestion within the business process diagram that we have for the NFMA phase of project design. So the Middle Fork of the Weiser River is actually phase 2 that we discussed as a coalition way back in the summer of 2009. And so the project area is really already defined. As you may remember, we originally were discussing a 100,000 acre project area, and Greg recommended that it be split in two, that 100,000 acres was too big for the timeline in order to prepare the necessary work for the draft EIS. So we delayed phase 2, but the project area is defined. Kim did a great job of reviewing the forest plan on the Lost Creek, Boulder Creek, and the forest plan is still the forest plan, so I don't think we need to redo that. And I'm also suggesting that for the PFC that we've already spent quite a bit of time in 2012 on goals, and those goals really do apply to the Middle Fork of the Weiser River, so that this portion of the PFC role in terms of adopting goals I would recommend already exists. So what I've done is I've taken all the good work that was done for the recommendations on Lost Creek, Boulder Creek, and where possible, looking at this box of analyzing current and desired conditions, where possible, I've removed the data for Lost Creek, Boulder Creek, and replaced it with data for the Middle Fork of the Weiser River. And I'm recommending that the committees use that as a starting point. This is definitely not a final document. I'm calling it a template, and the committees can use that as a starting point to review their objectives and metrics for this new project area. In this middle swim lane, the ID team, as I mentioned, doesn't need to review the forest plan, but it would benefit the PFC to review a different scale, the management area direction. The management areas are different for this project area than they are for Lost Creek, Boulder Creek. So I think there is a need to have a meeting where the management area direction is reviewed, or at minimum the committees have a review of that information. So I think if we take this approach, we can essentially short circuit the pre-game warm-up for both the PFC in terms of drafting goals and adopting goals, and also recognize that work has already been done to define the project area. And we have a general idea of what the conditions are, but there is a need to review information at the management area scale that would affect recommendations for the project. My suggestion is that the PFC ask the committees to review the template and use that as a starting point to develop their recommendations. I think this approach will also free up time rather than focusing on conference room meetings to have field visits set up for this summer in order to review both vegetation and road and recreation infrastructure issues for the Middle Fork of the Weiser River. Just as background, I don't think we will have the time to review any of this material in depth on the 28th, but as background, going back to the main page here, just so you can identify where these documents are. The Middle Fork of the Weiser River has a separate menu item, or is a separate menu item on the web page. And if you select that under project design, there are just two entries, what I'm calling the template for recommendations, and you can download that and review it. And also I've redrafted the PFC one-pager, the strategy mission statement and goals, and simply changed the header on that to reflect the project area of the Middle Fork of the Weiser River, and that is available for download as well.